I guess I don't really know how to start this video. I've tried a few different times already today. I want to start delving into the world of Costube. I love costuming, well, I've recently stumbled upon, and by recently I mean within the last 6 or 7 months, stumbled upon this wonderful little corner of the internet full of people who are so passionate about something that I had only had a passing interest in before. I think watching them having so much fun doing something is infectious. It makes other people want to join in. It makes other people want to do that too, and to have that level of interest, to have that level of passion for something, and to have that level of skill, aesthetic, wonder. It's all there. It's all there. These are skilled craftspeople creating beautiful things and sharing that and the process with the world, and I just want to be part of it. So today we're gonna start, and I'm hoping that this video can be the beginning of something for my channel. I'm hoping that today we're gonna go through my crafts basket that has all of my unfinished projects in it, all of my hopes and dreams, essentially. And I want to show you what I want to do and what I want to make. And then hopefully this can become a kind of teaser trailer to the rest of my content. I'm hoping that you can come back in a year and see this video and then go back to my channel and see video after video of a project I talked about in this video being done and coming to fruition, and the mistakes that I made along the way and the journeys that I made along the way. I think that that would be really lovely to have a record of this, where I started, what I wanted to make, what I wanted to create, and then to have a record of that thing after I've created it, to be able to see me go through the process, to have that ability to look back on the creative journeys of my life in that way. And I think that would be so lovely. I want to have that. Which is why I'm dipping my toes into this whole Costube thing. So yeah, let's get started. Let's go through my crafts basket. Welcome to this. This is just tools. This is just a box of tools. That's not a project. Okay, well, I guess we'll start here with this plastic bag. This plastic bag is specifically my cross-stitch things. My cross-stitch projects. Of my cross-stitch my plastic bag full of cross-stitch things, the biggest unfinished project that I have, ooh, please forgive all of the horrendous mess of embroidery floss, but the biggest unfinished project that I have is actually this partially finished sleepy cat cross-stitch. I'm in the middle of it. I have been in the middle of it for a while. Oh, these are for something else entirely. That is a crocheting, knitting markers. Those go in a different box. That is the biggest cross-stitch project that I have with me. I also have in my head a number of other design-it-myself cross-stitch projects. I have this yards, I think it was 2 yards worth of just white Aida cloth, so that I can kind of come up with my own thing. For so many years, I have so many different patterns, and I would do the kits. Really, that's what I would do. I would get a cross-stitch kit, and then I would do that and work as far as I wanted to through it, and then move on. I think some of these are actually my sister's projects that she's gifted to me because she no longer wants to have the hobby of cross-stitch. But I would do the kits. But now I have this my own. I could make up my own cross-stitch patterns. It's like a revelation that I had last November, that I can make up my own cross-stitch patterns and I don't just have to do the patterns that I find in the kits, I can do what I want. So I'm very excited about that. That's what these embroidery hoops are for. I kind of want to make a couple of cross-stitch patterns and then just frame them with the embroidery hoop. Maybe that's something that I'll think about for next Christmas for presents for people. Now that we have gotten the cross-stitch bag out of the way, it is time for us to dive into the rest of the crafts basket. Oh, this is not actually a craft. This is literally my bag of thread. My bag of spools of thread. So, one of the biggest parts of my sewing basket and my unfinished projects is actually all of my mending. I have a lot of mending. The different members of my family ask me to mend things for them when they get broken. I have my own clothes that I need to mend and take care of so that hopefully they will last for a very long time. So I have, this a mending project for my sister, a mending of the waistband, I think. Is this the waistband? No, this is the pocket. There's a hole in the pocket. Mending for my father. And then there's some mending for me. This needs this needs a patch in the sleeve. There's a hole. There's a hole, so I need to patch that. This one has a nifty little hole in the butt, in the center, in the center back seam, just over the butt, in this pair of overalls, jumpsuit. I don't know, but it's that has a hole that needs repairing, right on the tush. This one has a number of problems at this point. It's got this very stretchy. Oh, there's a technical term for this. There is a technical term for this, and I used to know it. It has to do with fabric manipulation. I don't remember. But as you'll see, it has this particular fabric manipulation, and then on the back side it has all of this elastic to make that fabric manipulation happen, and that has these little loops of elastic pulling in really awkward ways kind of all over this, which is, I think, what happened when I washed it. So I need to figure out how to fix those at this point. And then there's also at least one that is just broken at this point that I need to either put back or not put back, depending on what I feel. And then, on top of that, as if all of that mess wasn't bad enough, we also have a broken strap that just needs to be sewed back on. And so that's super easy, but it's just another thing. So this also needs to be mended. So both of my fun sets of summery, light, yellow jumpsuits need to be mended, which is a little sad, but those are in my mending pile. I think I have a pair of my mother's pants that have something on them. It's probably a hem or a pocket somewhere that has come undone that needs to be fixed. And I think that's the mending. I think that's the whole mending pile. Which is a project in and of itself, the mending pile. It's so wild. Each of these things is probably only going to take me like 5 minutes to do, maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do for some of that patching or for that elastic problem, but it piles up. It piles up and it starts to feel like too much. It starts to feel like you can't do anything because it's just going to be too much work. The hardest part is starting. The hardest part of anything is starting. All you have to do is start. And then the momentum hits and you just keep going. So that's the sweet spot we're trying to find. The next things that we're going to address are actually the fabric I bought as birthday presents for myself. My birthday is in July, and in July this year, right around the week of my birthday, Joann Fabrics was having a sale on all of their Halloween printed cotton fabrics. So I got myself two absolutely beautiful, I got 2.5 yards of two very fun Halloween-y fabrics. I got them because I wanted to make something special. And I figured if I got it at my birthday and I made it for Halloween, then I would have a large amount of time in order to plan and do the project, and then I would also have a deadline to get it done by, so that I could wear it for Halloween in October. So, yeah, I got these, and I was walking around the store trying to think of what I could even do, because I'm so terrible. I don't go to the store with a pattern in mind, and I'm not really a seamstress at this point in my life. I don't have the experience, I don't have the patterns at my beck and call. I've done a little bit of sewing in the past. I'm not a complete and total beginner, but when it comes to sewing on my own and completing an entire project, I used to work in a theatrical costume shop when I was in college, but that's a completely different thing. That's like walking in every day and doing one step on one specific project, and a lot of the time I did hand sewing, and I did the finishing, and I did little pieces of it. I've sewn a lot of sequins, I've sewn a lot of trims, I've done a lot of hemming, I've done a little bit of cutting out and a little bit of pattern drawing, but I also kind of think I was spoiled, because it's completely different to do it in your own home when you don't have literally an entire dedicated costume shop with all of the tools and all of the fancy home-sew boards that you can pin into. It's just a different beast. And I let that stop me for a long time. But we're back, we're ready to go, and this is gonna be beautiful, I think, for both of these. Both for this one with the cats and the little Ouija board pointer and the skull crystal ball and stuff, and then this one with the owls and the pumpkins and these two beautiful pieces. I want to make these into little Halloween pinafores. So a kind of like front bib with straps here, and then connect that to like a skirt. So you'd wear like a t-shirt under it or something like that, but have this little like bibbed Halloween-y pinafore type situation. And I think that that'll work out really good, and since I have 2.5 yards of fabric, I think that should be enough. I've never really had to buy fabric for a project before. I think I've done it once in the past, and that project never really got off the ground, so I was kind of completely guessing at how much fabric I needed. So we'll see how that goes. Though that's a project that I really want to complete within the next couple of months, honestly. These, this is definitely still in process. So what I want to do with this, it's inside out right now, but I'll let you... These are actually the leftovers from a Ren Fair costume that a friend of mine made for me when I was in high school. You can see that beautiful paisley, and then there's... This is the inside, because this is still in process. And then the lining here. This is the lining fabric, and then this is the outside. But basically, I have had these scraps left over from this project when I was in high school, and I wanted to make a lined drawstring bag for my tarot cards, my deck of tarot cards, and I thought that these colors would just fit perfectly with that process, or like with my particular deck, and I thought that would just be beautiful and would work out fabulously. And then I just didn't do it, and I am still in process. I've been working on it, and by the time I actually was able to start on this project, I was living in Boston and I didn't have my sewing machine. The good news was that I had just discovered Bernadette Banner's channel, and she had introduced me to the wonderful world of, yes, of course you can hand sew it. It'll just take longer, but that's fine. And Kathy Hay, who taught me that it's okay for things to take longer, and that it's all part of the process, and as long as you're having fun, it's fine. So I started to just sew it by hand. Honestly, figuring out how to make a lined and also drawstring bag is the hardest part. That is the hard part. And I still don't know if I fully have a grasp on how to do it, but I'm sure that I will figure it out and that it will be fine and that it'll be beautiful, but I just have to continue making progress on it. So that UFO is still on the docket, is to create a little drawstring bag. I like to think that all of these projects that I'm taking on are fairly straightforward and fairly beginner-friendly, because I am indeed a beginner. The next project is actually one that I'm fairly far along on. This one is, okay, so, well, that's inside out at this point. And wrinkly as all heck. This needs to be pressed. So, this project is nearly finished. This one is a pirate shirt that I have made myself. At this point, it's so close to being done. I still have to hem the bottom, so this part I have to fully hem. And then there are a number of seams on the inside that I want to finish still, and fell them down and finish the seams and stuff. I think I've got this half, this half on this side. These are all finished. This half still needs to be finished, and then I need to hem the bottom. And then this project that I started in January when I went back to Boston, and I decided to hand sew a shirt because I needed to start somewhere, and I thought a patternless pirate shirt that is just made of rectangles. You can see this is super boxy. There's some gathering in it, so I learned how to do gathering. That was fun. But yeah, I made a pirate shirt. I have tried it on at this point. It is too big in some places, and doesn't fit super well on the whole, but it was made entirely out of squares and rectangles, and has had zero fitting at all. So I think that that's fine, especially since it's my first project ever, and that I can always try to fix it later, probably. Honestly, the biggest thing is just that this measurement is too long, so the measurement from the collar to the shoulder seam is too long, and I probably should have taken... I probably need to take like an inch out of this specific measurement in the shoulder, like this shoulder seam, because it is too long for my shoulders, and so it doesn't sit right. I think in the future, if I did this again, I also... well, we can get into this. I'll make a whole video about this at some point, probably. Here's the hope. Fingers crossed. What else do I have? This is my bag of cabbage. This is my bag of scraps and offcuts. This is just a pile of fabric that I don't have plans for, so the rest of the fabric from the shirt project. A little black square. These are leftovers from some pillow covers that I made. Oh, this is actually the leftovers from the shirt pattern project that I had made in the past, or had made reference to earlier. I bought fabric for a pattern that I had bought, and then that never got made, as you can see by the fact that the fabric is still folded up in my fabric basket and is not actually a shirt. And then I have a whole bunch of felt, and I got this for a number of different projects. I always want to try to use felt, and it never quite works out the way that I planned, or the way that I hoped. Ooh, and then these are pretty. I have no projects in mind for these yet, but these are my... oh, someday when I have skills and I don't feel the terrifying dread of cutting into something beautiful. This is a piece of fabric that I got. It is a remnant that I got at SR Harris in the cities. And it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at the detail on this embroidery. I think I have about a yard, maybe less of this, and I have no idea what you can make with less than a yard of fabric, but I just desperately want to have something made out of this, and I want it to be beautiful. And I don't have the skills to make something beautiful yet. So we're sitting on this until I do have the skills. And then this next one is very much in the same boat. Very much, also incredibly beautiful. Also incredibly detailed, wonderful embroidery. This beautiful diamond pattern is just wonderful. I love it. I have slightly more of this gold than I do of the other one. I think this one is probably 2 yards, or 1.5, nearly 2. And then this one was like 1 yard. But they're both remnants that I got on sale at SR Harris, and I found them and I couldn't live without them, which is, I think, the first time that's ever happened when I went to a fabric store. It's like a rite of passage, I think, to find that beautiful fabric that you want to make something beautiful out of, but you have no idea what it actually is going to end up being someday. Yeah, so I think that is all of the projects that I have on hand that are specific to sewing. I have a whole separate basket of knitting and crocheting craft projects that are completely separate from all of these. So that, I think I decided that that's going to be a whole video on its own. That is not going to be a video that I pursue as part of this concept. So my knitting and crocheting craft projects, I think, are going to be a whole nother video. So I guess look out for that too. Hopefully I can put these things on my calendar and I can make things and take you with me on my journey as I make things. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a learning process. I hope that maybe you can learn something from my learning process, and I'll see you next time.